Terminator Dark Fate is the fourth and, hopefully, the last film in the Terminator franchise. And this is also the fourth attempt at starting a new trilogy. The crutch of this movie was the fact that Linda Hamilton was returning as Sarah Connor, as well as James Cameron returning as a producer and as the head of story. And that was enough to sell me to come back to this movie, even if the bar was really low this time around after the travesty that was Genesis.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do?
Now, the writers took the approach of The Force Awakens, where the legacy characters would help the new characters lead out this new franchise and push it forward. The problem is, it doesn't do it very well. As far as the cast goes, Mackenzie Davis was amazing as the Protector Grace. Her performance was convincing and arguably the best of this film. Gabriel Luna was compelling as the new Terminator, even giving off vibes of Robert Patrick from T2. Linda Hamilton wasn't bad in her return either, as the latest of returning elder badasses of film, and it was nice to see her story continue. Arnold is... he's Arnold. But the biggest flaw in the casting is Natalia Reyes as Dani, the new girl that they protect. It's not that I had a problem with the character, nor the actress's ability, but the casting was way off, and that's the fault of the casting director. It's safe to say that the franchise abandoned its horror roots a long time ago, and the fact that James Cameron was coming back made me hopeful that, hey, maybe they'll bring back a little bit of it and find a way to merge the two. But once again, the producers fail at that. They decided to just give the average moviegoer a popcorn movie experience with loud explosions and one-liners. Now, the script is probably the biggest problem. The story in itself isn't that bad, and actually, I kind of enjoyed it. If it worked for The Force Awakens, it can work for this franchise as well, but it's too bogged down under action tropes and lots of bad humor. Some jokes paid off, but some didn't. And for me, the continuation of tone was very important, especially if you're marketing it as a continuation off of T2, ignoring all the other sequels, saying, we're not going to worry about those, let's focus on what really matters. But they just kind of did the same thing again, and that was really disappointing. I did leave the theater enjoying myself, but I was mostly laughing at its expense. And as far as a good sequel, I still prefer Salvation. This is better than Genesis, but at least Salvation, even with its rather average story, took itself seriously and actually pushed it forward and didn't try to do the same thing with the typical cat and mouse story. Personally, I don't see this franchise ever returning to what it once was, or ever understanding what made the originals so great. Hopefully they cut their losses and just wait another 10 years until the inevitable reboot. But until then, I'm sure they'll be back.